Hey, what's up guys? In this video I'm going to be showing you guys the very powerful 1-minute crypto scalping strategy that can be used for a lot of cryptos, be it Bitcoin, Ethereum or any other of the altcoins out there to trade. And you guys can test it out with other strategies as well, so let me know if you guys want me to test it out on Forex or other pairs or stocks as well. So let's dive straight into this video. So for this video we'll be using 3 types of indicators. First type will be the hullsuite. You'll be using one of these indicators. So search up hullsuite, is the one by Indicators. You're going to be changing certain things. For the length, you're going to let it remain the same. For the length multiplier, change it to 3. Next type, you're going to be using the supertrend indicator. You're going to be the third one on the screen by Keybench with the 38,000 clicks. For this, you're going to change certain things. For the first indicator, you're going to change the ATI period to 11. The second indicator, you're going to change the multiplier to 3. Last but not least, what we're going to be doing is adding the stochastic RSI indicator. This will be the 4th indicator, and you're going to leave it as default settings. So let's dive straight into this video. So I'm going to explain to you guys how we're going to take positions and how does this strategy work. So for you to take a long position, firstly price must be above the hullsuite. So let me look for a valid example. Okay, so let's look at the most recent data. So as you guys can see from the bottom of the screen, currently trading on June data, which is today's data. Probably will be releasing this video today, so it's the most recent data right now. So what we'll be looking at is you're looking for price to be above the hullsuite. So right here you can see price is above the hullsuite, and we're looking for price to be above the 2 super trend lines. So here we have it, and we are waiting for the crossover of the stochastic RSI below the 80 range. So what do I mean by that? So let's look. Right here you can see that we have a crossover of this right here below the 80 range, but the crossover, while the crossover is happening, price must be above the hullsuite and the super trend lines as well. So it is pretty hard to find entries because it only filters out basically the best entries. So I'm going to try to see whether I can find any of the entries, and any of the entries are valid. So yeah, I'll be back once I find. Oh, here we actually have a valid entry. You see that we have the crossover. What we see here is that we have the price above the hullsuite. The hullsuite is green color, so the adverse condition met. Secondly, we have the price above the 2 super trend lines, not valid, and we have the crossover of the stochastic RSI right here below the 80 range. So that is a valid signal. So we're going to enter on this position right there. You can put your stop loss below the super trend line, and what you want to aim for is a 2:1 risk to reward ratio. A lot of times we aim for 1.5:1, but with this super trend strategy we are aiming for a 2:1 risk to reward ratio because this will give us the highest win rate. So same thing here, we want to wait for a crossover, but as you guys can see, this crossover happens on this big candle, and you do not want to enter on big candles. So that's one of the rules that you guys should follow as well. So let's find another entry. So here we have another entry right here. You can see that price is above the hullsuite. The hullsuite is green color. Price is above the super trend as well, the 2 super trend lines. We have the crossover happening right there. This is basically the perfect example of an entry. Stop loss right below the super trend lines and a 2:1. So as you guys can see, it helps to filter out a lot of the bad trades. Like right here we have a crossover, but you can see that it's only above one of the super trend lines, so it avoids that bad trade. Same thing right here, we have a crossover but it's below the hullsuite, so you will not take that position. And yeah, basically that's how you take long positions. So now I'm going to teach you guys how to take short positions. It is basically the same thing except that we flip all the rules around. So you just want to wait for price to break below the house sweep. So let me find an example. So we're gonna wait for price to clearly break below the house sweep, which is like right here. You can see price clearly being below the house sweep. So price must be below the house sweep must be red in color. Secondly, price must be below the two super trend indicators, and we must have the crossover coming down from a above 80 range. So the crossover happens and it's coming down. So here we have a valid position. You can see the price below the house sweep, below the two super trend lines. We have the crossover happening and above the 80 range, and it's coming down. Stop loss right above, and 2:1. Risk to reward ratio. So there we have it. Again, we are looking for another entry. You can see here we have price below the house sweep, price below the house sweep, below the two super trend lines right here, coming down from a crossover at the above 80 range. So that's another valid position. Stop loss right above, and a 2:1. Another winning position. Same thing right here. You can see that we have the crossover on this candle. Price clearly below the house sweep and the two super trend lines. Put a stop loss above the first super trend line, and the 2:1. So as you can see, this strategy works pretty well. I'm going to try and backtest it real time with you guys, so you guys can learn how to take the strategies as well. So I'm going to choose a random point in time, and let's see how this plays out. So I'm going to make it 10 times, and let's look whether this strategy actually works while I backtest it. So while I backtest, I'm going to tell you guys certain scenarios that you guys should avoid trading, so that we do not have any type of trades that we should not take, and basically just have a lower win rate. So let's let it play out for a while. So we are here, we are below the house sweep, and we are below the two super trend lines. So we're gonna look for an entry. So here we will have a valid entry. Why? Because we have this price below the house sweep, below the two super trend lines, and it's coming down from a crossover above the 80 range. So we will enter right there. Stop loss above the first super trend line, and a 2:1. So that will be win trade right there. So we are still looking for price to in the downward direction, because you can see that it is still below the house sweep. So always look for crossovers above the 80 range. So just keep an eye out for that. So here we are looking at one of the crossover right here. So we want for it to be direction down, heading to the downside. But here you can see it flattens out, it does not hit down, so we will not take that position. And here we have the crossover happening. It's heading down now, but you can see that it's two super trend lines below, so we avoid that position. Just let it play out. Now we are breaking above the house sweep. Let's wait for the house sweep to change to green, and now we're going to look for long positions. So now we can see price is above the house sweep is green, price is above the two super trend. We're looking for a crossover to the upside now, and here we have the crossover happening. So that is a valid position. You can see it fulfills all the conditions. Price above the two super trend and above the house sweep. Stop loss right above, and a 2:1. So let's let it play out. So unfortunately we stopped out, but it's always fine, because with a 2:1 risk to reward ratio, even with a 33% win rate, you'll still break even. With a 40% win rate, you will be profitable. So let's let it play out. So here we are still bouncing around, ranging markets, so we'll kind of avoid that position. Same thing here, we're just waiting for a valid position. Okay, so here we have a break above, and we are waiting for a crossover, which happens right here. We enter in the position right there. Stop loss right below. 2:1. You can see that it fulfills all the conditions above the super trend, above the house sweep, and we have the crossover, so we're gonna let it play out. still not stopped out yet. Currently in profit, and there's be another winning trade. So as you can see, this strategy works pretty well. Although we've taken 2 trades only right here, but if we based on the few trades we've taken at the start, you can see that from about maybe 7 to 8 trades, we have only lost 2 to 3 times, and with a risk to reward ratio of 2:1, that is pretty insane. So obviously I would suggest that you guys try out on yourselves this strategy before you actually test it with real money. Make sure that you guys are confident with the strategy, and my tips would be to avoid the ranging markets and to only look for big trends like this. You can clearly tell it's a big trend downwards. Here, same thing, big trend downwards, and you look for big trends, follow the big trends. So yeah, that's it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe button, and see y'all next time.